From the News Channel 5 Network and Out and About Nashville, this is Out and About Today. Sponsored by the Tennessee Performing Arts Center.
Hello, I'm Chuck Long, and welcome to Out and About Today. Tonight, Pam has a look at HRC's busy 2019. Then Brent has a conversation with Katie Poole, Metro Police's new LGBTQ liaison. But first, it's Buzz About, and we're going to look at how everything old is new again in LGBTQ television. Pam and Brent join me, along with Out and About Nashville's managing editor. Always glad when he's here, James Grady. Good to see you, James.
Reboot!
Reboot! That is the word of the day. It certainly is. So we're going to look at some of the key series that were breaking ground when they first came on, and they're all supposedly rebooting. So first one I'm going to ask you guys about, Queer as Folk. So I'm going to start with James. Queer as Folk. Did you watch the original?
I watched a few episodes.
Okay.
I think I caught the tail end of that in my youth. So it was pretty eye-opening because I didn't have a lot of access to any LGBTQ life outside of television. So.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. It was very eye-opening. I wasn't even out when, yeah, and so that was my gateway in, was to watch that, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Did you have to like turn out the lights and hide to watch it, or how did you?
It just felt so good to watch it. I would just have to say, I got Showtime specifically for that. So we're gonna take a look at it, and then I'm gonna get your opinions on it and the reboot as well. So take a look. This is Queer as Folk, the original.
I walked into my first audition, I was like, are we doing this? Because this is crazy, y'all.
The energy of that first script I read was unlike anything I had read before.
I definitely thought, wow.
I knew it would be historic, and it was necessary. Somebody had to do it.
We started with a bang, and I guess we're going out with one.
Queer as Folk, the final season. For the show that shocked a nation and changed the face of TV, it's still all or nothing.
Okay, all or nothing, that was pretty much what it was. So what were your impressions when you were first watching?
Oh my gosh, well, it was a Sunday night get-together type of watching. Every single week we all gathered at a friend's house, then we watched it, and it was sort of that moment where you all felt comfortable watching yourselves on TV finally. And this is back in the days when Pam and I were still involved with National Pride, and they were a sponsor, and it felt like, wow, Showtime, we really had kind of made it in a way.
Yeah, Showtime was a sponsor.
Yeah.
We had all kinds of Queer as Folk stuff, and I was part of that gathering. It was a fun thing to watch. A lot of gay guys dance on the dance floor, and
and then to see the lesbian couple and have
the token lesbian.
I always kind of joked about how sort of sometimes it was a lot of stereotypes, like, oh, is Brian going to get the account again with sleeping with the guy with the client? And he did almost every time, but it was still fun to watch.
It was. Now the reboot. This is interesting. The reboot. The original producers of the original Queer as Folk on the BBC. That production group is the one that's going to do the reboot, and they're going to do a whole new cast, a younger cast. What do you think the new Queer as Folk, what can it offer us today?
First of all, I'm going to point to what you said. This is the third version of Queer as Folk.
Yes.
So honestly, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, because it's a very different world than it was then, and I wonder, do we not have new stories to tell about LGBT people in this very different world? If they do well, they'll show those. If not, they'll go back to the old trope, and we'll be stuck with a third version of the same old show.
Right. I think they're going to do something new, and I think that the original producers, I think they, from reading, kind of what their vision is, it's like seeing where characters in a young world of the LGBTQ world now move forward. So, all right, I don't want to make sure we get to all these three, because we're talking about Queer Eye as well as the L Word. So take a look. This is the L Word. This broke a lot of ground, obviously, in the lesbian community. So we're going to take a look at the original L Word, then talk about it on the backside.
Jenny did a fantastic rewrite on Les Girls.
She's the only person who could possibly direct the picture.
Directing? Like girls?
I decided to take a major break from sex, thereby eliminating the main cause of insanity in my life.
Shane. Here, right now. Can I?
Just don't touch me.
It's just not gonna make it. Wow, they're so in love.
You do need to stop hanging out with Beth so much.
I know that you don't want to hurt Jody.
What's going on?
She already knows there's something wrong.
If I could take you.
Maybe you'd like to go out sometime.
Have you had sexual relations with Captain William?
That was an awesome show. It was so much better than that Queer as Folk business.
It really was.
It really was great. And HRC used to do they would release, Showtime would release the first episode, and we would do a brunch at Tribe, and lesbians would come out of the woodwork to watch it, because you got to see it like a week early, maybe.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible. Yeah. So what do you think about the new one that still hasn't been announced? I mean, they've announced officially they want to do it, but no cast yet. There's no all-lesbian show that I'm aware of right now. Right. People are going to watch it. And are you glad that someone like Jennifer Beal has said she's interested in coming back to it? Of course. Okay. Yeah, I
want to see the whole same cast. I mean, they're around my age. I know I'm not the demographic, but the only part. But I wouldn't mind the same cast, seeing where they are now.
All right. Okay, we just got a minute and a half, so I want to go to Queer Eye. So, Queer Eye, of course, a huge show back, from the original. So take a look, and then we'll talk about it on the backside.
His grooming routine is non-existent. Perfect.
She thinks have potential for a better self.
What are you hoping to get from us?
I just want to be able to be visible and be present and let everybody know that I'm okay.
Who would have thought a bunch of gays would come to build a community center for a church?
Oh my God!
That was such a phenomenal episode. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites there. Okay, so Queer Eye for the Straight Guy was the original show. That broke a lot of ground, but I know we've just got about 40 seconds left. But the new Queer Eye kind of has a different feel, more emotional feel. Have you seen the new Queer Eye?
I have.
Okay, what's your impression of it?
I mean, there's not a lot you can say. I mean, it's very emotional. I thought the original one, maybe I'm just a little too emotional, but I was always moved by the way that the straight guys were kind of moved by that experience.
And do you think part of that, though, was because it was so new to actually see, these queer guys coming in and helping out straight guys?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, at the encouragement, always it seemed like of the wife or girlfriend in the background, or somebody saying, "Yeah, get their help, get their help." That was about the time I felt like the metrosexual movement was abounding, and so they kind of came in and helped out with that.
Okay, well, as always, our time is running out. So fun. We'll talk about these later. So, and especially when the reboots actually hit the air.
Yes.
Okay, deal. All right.
Deal.
All right. We have to take a short break, but when we return, Brent talks to Metro Nashville Police Department's very first LGBTQ liaison, Officer Katie Poole. You're watching Out and About Today.